And there we are, we're recording. So welcome to Painting Through the Pandemic. I'm Shauna Sue. I own Crooked Door Studio in Uptown Marysville, Ohio. We've been painting through the pandemic since Friday the 13th, or I should say Friday the 13th in March of 2020 was our last in-studio public class. Within the last month or so, we've started having private parties back at the studio, and my goal is June 4th to be able to get back in the studio and have some public classes. They're going to be small and limited at first, but it's one step closer back to a little bit of normal, right? Getting back in the studio, which is super exciting. So I want to take a moment. I never want to, I don't want to forget this. I don't ever want to take this for granted that it's you guys that have kept the studio afloat this entire ridiculous past year. So the money that you send for donations, the supplies you buy through the studio, that has all helped me pay my rent, which means I have a studio. We all have a studio to go back to. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for that, for helping a small time female owned business survive the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you so much. Okay. So if you would like to donate to the studio, that I have listed over in the chat box, different ways you can do that. Facebook, Venmo, private message me. We'll figure it out if you ever want to donate. I appreciate every penny that you send. What else? Let's talk about supplies. Yeah, let's talk about supplies for tonight. So tonight we're going to paint this super fun flamingo, right? It's just going to be silliness. If you got supplies from the studio, you got a little extra surprise in there, so we'll talk about that later. They got pink glitter. Super exciting. Okay, first things first, since we're all painting at home, I was just thinking, I wonder how many times I say first things first. It's not a first thing if it's the fourth. Anyway, ADHD. It's good tonight. So let's take a look around. We're all in our own surroundings, right? You want to take a look around, make sure there's nothing you're super concerned about getting paint on. The paint that I'm using, and probably the paint that you're using, is acrylic paint. It's water-based, water-soluble. But if you get it on fabric and it dries, it's a real bear to get out. So let's take a moment, just check our surroundings. Always good to survey it just to make sure, okay? With that said, make sure you have either a paint shirt or an apron on. I lost my apron the last couple weeks, but I found it. It's back. Whew, I was feeling naked without it. So I have a paint apron on because I don't even realize I do it, but I wipe my hands on my pants quite a bit. So I have my apron to catch that. Okay, surroundings, check. Paint shirt, apron, check. Canvas. I have a 16 by 20 stretched canvas. And if you got supplies from the studio, that's what you have. I usually say decide if you're going to go vertical or if you're going to flip it and go horizontal. This one, because it's a flamingo, I think it works really well vertical, so we can have those long skinny legs. So I'm going to leave mine vertical, but it's your painting. You do whatever you want to do. It would be really cute if you did it horizontal and then you did two of them standing side by side. It's whatever you want to do. My job tonight is to show you techniques and mixing and all that stuff, and what you do with it, it's all you, okay? So as always, decide now if you're going to paint the edges or not. There's no in between, right? You either paint your edges or you don't. There's no right or wrong, but you never want half your edges painted and then to stop, because that just looks messy and unfinished. So decide now, and I'll try to remind you as we go to paint your edges if you have chosen to do that. Okay, brushes. We're going to do this all with our 3 trusty brushes, the same guys we always use, right? A big wash brush. Yours might not look like this, but it's the biggest brush you have. This one is about an inch wide. This is my filbert, my well-loved filbert. He's curved. Yours might be flat. Yours might be angled, but it's the widest one you have, about an inch wide. Okay. A medium brush. This is my medium filbert. Again, yours might be flat. Yours might be angled. Maybe, I don't know, something funny going on up there. but this one's about a 1/4 inch wide. And if I turn it sideways, it's skinny. Okay. And then around, this is my number 5. He's my favorite one. Yours might be bigger, might be smaller, right? Might be bigger around, have more bristles. The most important part is to make sure it comes to a really nice point. You can have a nice big fat brush, but as long as it comes to a point, a nice sharp point, that's the most important part for details. So those 3 guys. I have a water cup that's halfway full with cool or cold water, never warm or hot. Okay, I'm gonna take those brushes, I'm gonna pop them in there and leave them there. While I'm painting tonight, that's where they stay. As soon as class is over, I'll take them out and wash them in warm soapy water, lay them flat to dry. But while class is happening, that's where they live so they don't get dried out. So every time I'm done with the brush, back in there with his friends, okay? Then I have some paper towels down here to blot my brushes off on. I forgot to mention earlier, since we are recording, I have everyone on mute without the ability to unmute yourself. So if you have a question, pop it in the chat box, okay? I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat box. So it might take me a minute to get to you, but I'm looking over there, okay? Okay, all right, paint. Let's talk paint. So 5 colors on my palette tonight. We're gonna use a lot of white tonight. I'm using blockout white. I'm gonna use a lot of it. We're gonna mix white with everything tonight. So that's not gonna be near enough for me. That's enough for now, so I don't mess it all up and then waste it and have to get clean later, okay? So that's enough for now. Bright red, any red you have will do, because we're not mixing for purple tonight. So any red you have will do. Phthalo blue, really any blue will do, but I like phthalo because it's really versatile because it's so dark. Phthalo green, I love phthalo green because I can mix it with a little blue and white and get like a real pretty turquoise, okay? And then Mars black. So those are my colors I have. Other things that you may have tonight, I have an extra plate. I've been thinking about our painting and our flamingo body. Some of us have a tendency when we're working on a big canvas, we make things too small right in the middle. We don't fill that whole canvas. And the beauty of this painting, we'll talk about it in a minute. I'll pull up the original here in a minute. The beauty of that painting is that flamingo just fills that canvas in all his gloriousness, right? All his ridiculous pink feather gloriousness. So I want to make his body big enough, okay? So I think a plate, oh, that's fun. That's gonna be big enough, right? So I'm gonna use a plate for his body and then something about a 1/4 of that size for his head. But again, round, because I can't be trusted to make things round and not lopsided. So I have those things, cheaters, I like to call them. They're not cheaters, they're helpers. Okay, and then let me pull, last thing I want to do before we get started, I want to pull up our painting because I always like to give you a roadmap for where we're going. Because if I were taking this class, that's something I'd want to know. Well, what's she going to do next? So I'm just going to lead you right through it here. And if you have experience, then you can go on your own if you want, right? You don't have to wait on me. So we're going to paint that background. We're going to start at the top with blue and white, and we're going to come down about 3/4 of the way down with blue and white. And then if you look at the original, there is no hard horizon line. It's okay if you put one, but there's not a hard horizon line. We're going to transition right into some green and white for the water. So we're going to paint that entire background, okay? Then we're going to come in and we're going to trace where our flamingo body is going to go and our flamingo head. Connect it with that neck there. And we'll get some legs on there. And then we'll come up here and play a little bit, right? We'll maybe start putting some feathers in. We'll put a beak on there. And then I think one of the last things we'll do, we'll put his sunglasses on And then maybe one of the last things we'll do is we'll come down here and we'll put the water splash in at the bottom because we want to make sure those legs are nice and dry because I don't want to drag through those black legs while they're wet and make my water gray, which is not what I'm going for. So remember, this is your painting. You make it whatever you want it to be. I have decided that I'm going to change it up a little bit. I feel like flamingos need the number 4 legs, right? So I'm going to change mine up a little bit. I'm going to give him different legs because to me, that's flamingo if he's standing on one leg. And I even gave him knobby little knees. He needs knobby little knees. So whatever you want to do, it's all you. And I have a bulldog. Sorry, I have a bulldog that has decided to sit right on my feet at this moment. It's going to be a little awkward to move. Okay. So I say, let's go ahead and get started. That's enough chit chat. All right. Find your biggest brush. The biggest one you have. Tap, tap, tap it in the water cup. Tap, tap, tap. And let's dry it off on the paper towel. Push the water out of it. And we're going to start up here at the top and work our way down. Again, we're using blue and white. And we're going down about 3/4 of the way. Just a rough idea. Maybe it's 2/3, further than half, somewhere past the half line, okay? I think I'm gonna do a little darker blue at the top and then get a little lighter as we go down. So I'm gonna take a big old chunk of white. Don't be stingy with your paint, okay? Load that brush up with white. And then a little bit of blue to start because that blue's powerful. A little bit's gonna go a long way. And we're going to put our sky in. We're going to go side to side. You might even use a little more blue. Okay. And if you have decided to paint your edges, now's the time. Get on up there on that tippy top. Paint the left and the right as you go down because it's easier to paint them now than it is to try to match them up later. Okay. And let's head all the way down. Well, between 2/3 and 3/4 of the way down. Chunk of white, some blue, side to side. Now, as you do this, you can experiment a little bit and see what you want your sky to look like. I'm going side to side. What if you go sweepy? What if you change it up a little bit? What if you do those sweepy brush strokes? What if instead of using your brush flat ways, what if you turn it and use it skinny ways? Entirely up to you. I think I'm going to go somewhere half between side to side and sweepy. But as I go down here, I'm going to add a little more white as I go. Oh, lovely. I feel like I might want to maybe shush some clouds in there. A little more white up in there. Your sky is really whatever you want it to be. Oh, that was a very Bobism, wasn't it? I just channeled the Bob. Remember, don't be stingy with your paint. Use plenty of paint. And I'm making sure as I paint my sky that I can't see any of the canvas weave peeking through. If I can see the canvas, if I can see little squares, that means I can see the weave. I'm not using enough paint. Get more paint on there. And breathe. Again, we're going about between 2/3 of the way down and 3/4, somewhere in this vicinity. If I stretch my hand out big and fat, I'll go down about that far. I hope you guys are taking this time to breathe and just relax a little bit and not think about the world right now, because, you know, the world's a crazy place. So I always like to remind, I'm not sure if she's here or not, but my sweet friend Alicia, breathe, exhale it out. It's all good. For this next hour and a half, whatever happens, happens. I like to tell people that's part of being an artist, is letting whatever's going to happen, happen. Not trying to control it, because you can't. Well, you can try and you'll get frustrated. And while art should be, it can be challenging, but it should be fun, it should be relaxing, it should never be frustrating. So that little puddle of white in there, I've already used it all. So I'm going to go get some more white. I'm going to go get some clean, and I'm going to move over to the side a little bit and put it in a clean spot. Okay. And I'm going to go provide assistance to a bulldog, but I'm going to have you keep going again between 2/3 and 3/4 of the way down. Hi. That's my girl. Look around. Look around. Good girl. Okay. Again, my goal is to get a little bit lighter as I head down toward the horizon. So I'm just adding a little more white as I move my way down. You may not be, and that's okay. Again, no right or wrong, just different. And edges, don't forget your edges. Here, baby. Okay. Go a little further. And then when you decide that you're ready to start your water, again, there's not a real hard line there. There can be if you decide that that's what you want, but there doesn't have to be. You can just have this gentle fade down into the water. So that's what I'm going to do. Gentle fade. The intention. We'll see if it turns out to be gentle or not. Who knows? Not going to wash my brush out, right? It has blue and white on it. I'm going to take some more white, a lot of white. And that phthalo green is just as powerful as phthalo blue. So I'm going to start with just a little bit. So dirty brush with blue and white. I added more white and a little bit of phthalo green. And I think I'm going to stick with that same sweepy brush stroke. Oh, that's pretty. Maybe a little more green. Oh, that's fun. And we're going to finish the canvas out with that. Okay. Oh, breathe it out. Oh, edges. Don't forget your edges. Okay. All righty. So once that's done, oh, I think I'm going to pick it up and hang it here and go ahead and get that bottom edge. I want paint on all 4 edges here. No naked edges. Okay. Now, when that's done, paintbrush and water cup. Okay. I've got my entire canvas covered, got my sky covered. I've transitioned down into my water with a little bit of phthalo green on that dirty brush. Made sure all my edges are covered. Brush and water cup. Okay. Let's work on that till, you know, we're going to want it to dry a little bit. Oh, absolutely, Callie. Yeah. I was just going to say, we're going to pause for a little bit. About 7:45, we'll come back and we'll start working on that flamingo. So it's 7:27 right now. So that gives you what, 18-ish minutes? Did I do the math right? Yes, 18-ish minutes to catch up and get it all covered and let it dry a little bit. That also gives you a little bit of time to figure out what round things you want to use for your flamingo body and your flamingo head. I might change, because when I put that plate up there, I'm like, oh, that's going to be pretty big, especially if I pull feathers out past where I outlined the plate. I might find a dessert plate, maybe a dessert plate and a coffee cup. We'll see. So that gives you time to look for those things. Not worried about rinsing my water out. You can if you want, but I'm not super concerned about it yet. Not till we get to that white splash at the end. So yeah, that's it. So 7:45, come back with 2 round things, one for flamingo body, one for flamingo head. So I'm thinking dessert plate and coffee cup. And a dry canvas. Okay, because whatever we trace for body and head, we don't want it to stick to a wet canvas. Okay. All right. 7:45. We'll be back. Oh yeah, Andrea, I just saw your comment. I'm sorry. Yeah, phthalo green, more yellow. Phthalo. Ooh. But yeah, ultramarine would give your sky a little bit of a purplish hue. But it looks like you solved it. Oh, that's okay, Kim. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. white, bright blue, ultramarine, and lime. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I see, Andrea, you're showing me. Okay, I can't see the water. Can you lift it up a little bit? Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah. Well done. Nice. Yeah, ultramarine blue. I'm not a huge fan of ultramarine blue unless I'm wanting to mix it to make purple. Ultramarine blue is more transparent. It's a lot weaker color than phthalo blue, in my opinion. And it doesn't seem to matter what brand of paint you buy. Ultramarine is just it's a much softer color. I like the boldness that I can get from phthalo blue. That's just me. Okay, it's about 15 minutes. I'm gonna find a couple round things. I think dessert plate and coffee cup. Some clean white. For your flamingo, because that's what we're going to work on next. For your flamingo, you can use white that has maybe a little tiny bit of blue in it. You don't want to use white that has any green at all in it. Art lesson for the night. You can use white that has a little bit of blue, tiny, tiny bit, not much at all, but you can use white that has a little bit of blue because we're going to take red and white for our flamingo. And if you add white that has blue, red and blue make purple. So you'll just have a purple hue to your flamingo. But if you use white that has green in it and you mix green with red, first time I've said it tonight, our magic word, you're going to get poop. You don't want a poop flamingo. That's not good for anyone. When in doubt, get some fresh white. Oh, I hope you guys have your music up, your windows open. No bets, no poopy flamingos. That's wrong. Poop flamingos are bad. I was showing my husband our inspiration picture. He was asking what we were painting, and I showed him the inspiration picture. And if you know my husband, he's a spectacular human being. I love that man with all my heart. And he is so creative and off bubble and out there. But he takes one look at my paintings and then gets put off because it's not realistic. Now he knows this is a cartoony looking flamingo, so it's not supposed to be realistic. But he's like, flamingos don't have black legs. They have pink legs. The legs need to be pink. And I said, from an artistic perspective, the black legs balance out the black beak and the black glasses from the top. It's all about balance in the art world. And then he was upset because the flamingos didn't have knees. I concede you there. I will give them knees. Oh, that man. He likes to look at some of my like some of my landscape paintings. What kind of tree is that? I said, it's my tree. Leave it alone. But I love him with all my heart. He's special. Let's see, what do we know? We still have about 11 minutes before we move on. So again, 7:45, we're gonna move on. Dry canvas. So blow dryer if you need to, right? Dry canvas, clean white paint. Oh yeah, Jessica, he didn't say word one about the sunglasses. Not a word. That wasn't even like a question. He was more upset about their legs not being pink and them not having knees. Which, Jessica, you know my husband, right? You know him really well. for him to pick up on those things, special. It's a special man. Oh, so 7:45. Oh, hello. Hello, Mary. I'm so glad you guys are here. Yay. I'm so glad you got your supplies out of the cabinet. Okay, so 7:45, so about 10 minutes, we'll move on. Dry canvas, 2 round things. So something for the body, something for the head, clean white paint. Okay. And you don't have to trace anything for the body if you don't want. Totally up to you. Nice. Mary, my guess is she didn't have it lined up at the red lines. I had another friend that couldn't get in the supply cabinet either because she was trying to line it up on the black lines. And that's why I shot the video and I shared the video of how to access the cabinet, because the video shows it lined up at the red lines. But the way the lock goes on there, you can't get to the black lines. It's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. Oh, okay. What do I know? What haven't we talked about tonight? What stories should I tell this evening? Oh, my bulldog. You've heard me talk about my bulldog, my special needs French bulldog, Gertrude. Gertrude, that's my Gertrude. My tattoo on my arm is my Trudy. She's good. I was like, the way I was starting that, it didn't sound like it was going in the right direction. No, she's fine. She just turned 9 last week. Sassy as ever, but she's 9 years old now. My sweet special needs gal. So let's see, that happened this past week. Oh, for those of you that are not my personal friends on Facebook, I will get ready to launch it on Crooked Door Studios Facebook page later this week. I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Hopefully. We're opening an online merchandise store, so you can order your own Crooked Door stuff. I know, it's very exciting. So I will have the way it's going to work, and I'll have this all explained in the post when I put it up. There'll be certain things that you can order with the logo. So I think we're going to have a t-shirt. I know, right? We're going to have a t-shirt. We're going to have an apron. It'll be a little different than these aprons. They'll be black with a white embroidered logo because they didn't have lime green. Oh, your mug. Let me see, Andrea. That's nice. Thank you. So they will, let's see, I'll have t-shirts. I'll have aprons with the embroidered logo. I'll have a really nice tote bag with an like a black tote bag with an embroidered logo. And then my friend that's helping me put the store together said, well, what about coffee mugs? Oh, no, Bets, but I can ship you an easel. I didn't know you didn't have an easel. Let me know what kind of easel. Do you not have a table easel? She said something about coffee mugs, and I was like, I don't know about Crooked Door coffee mugs. No, she's talking about like the Yeti styled mugs where my logo would be like etched into it. So, okay, not wine glass, well, kind of wine glasses, but hang on, let me find, I'll be right back. I'll show you the kind of wine glasses we're thinking about. Because then she's like, what about, oh, I got you, Bets. I got you, sister. She said, what about tumblers? And I was like, tumbler? Like a cup? Like I didn't understand what she was saying. And then she sent me pictures of things like this. Now it wouldn't be this, right? It would be black, but like a metal wine tumbler with like a sippy cup, like a wine sippy cup. So we will have these with Crooked Door etched into them. So kind of excited about that. I may have to buy a lot of those for the studio. I feel like I need to keep those on hand at the studio. So anyway, the way, so you can't drink your paint water, right? You need a lid. You need a sippy lid. Okay. So I'm thinking about that stuff, Jessica, but it's not, okay. So the way the store works, we have about 5 minutes, by the way, 5 minutes before we move on. Make sure your canvas is completely covered. Make sure you got all your edges. Find your 2 things you're going to trace for your body and for your head, and some clean white. Okay. You can get clean water if you want, but that's not a priority at this point. Okay. So the way the store works, they open it for a set period of time. It doesn't stay open all the time. So they'll open it. It'll be open for like 2 weeks, maybe a month. She said I can keep it open for a month if I want. But everyone essentially goes on and orders what they want. You pay for it. And then it's all like a pre-order. So everyone goes in and buys their stuff. And then at the end of that period, the store closes. And then they send everything to production. So they screen, it's a local place here in Marysville, it's Graphic Stitch. So they'll screen print all the shirts, they'll do the engraving, they'll do all the embroidery, and then they'll have your stuff. You can either choose to have it shipped to you, or you can pick it up at the studio. So about 7 to 10 days when the store closes, that's when they'll have everything ready for us. So we only keep it open for a certain period of time. So I want to get the store open so we can have things ready at the studio for June, right? So I want to get on this. So I had to stop like looking for things, but then I think we're going to open the store again. I don't know if we're going to open it in fall or if we're going to open it like again pretty quickly in July for my 6-year studio anniversary. And then, Jessica, I'm looking for those things, some more art related type things, but I have to shop a little more for those. So that's what I know, but it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. It's very exciting because there's no money out of pocket for me, which is super exciting. Because before, when I've ordered t-shirts, I've had to order like 100 of them. And then what I have is what I have. But this way you can order exactly what you want. And the profit from the shirts goes back to the studio. So you're supporting a local company by supporting Graphic Stitch. You're supporting the studio. It's very exciting. I know. So the extra money made, I get like a profit check once the store closes and they send everything to production. I guess the way it works is they cut the studio a profit check. And then I'm going to take the profit check and put it back into more stuff to keep at the studio. Blow dryer, Mary. We've got about 2 minutes. Blow dryer. Or wave at it frantically if you still have a wet canvas. But yeah, we need to move on in about 2 minutes. So anyway, watch for that to come. Watch for the store to be open, and know that the store will be open for just a couple weeks probably. That way we can have everything at the studio ready for you to pick up there. So excited. And the new logo. Have you guys seen the new studio logo? So I've decided business cards are a thing of the past, and I am now passing out, instead of business cards, stickers, like vinyl Crooked Door Studio logo stickers with my website on the back of them. Oh. I was just looking to see if I had the new logo here somewhere. I don't, because, you know, that would be too much like planning ahead. Oh, it's the Facebook. I changed my profile picture. That's the new logo. That's what's going on. That's what will be going on the shirts. Yeah, the shirts, I think, are the only thing that'll have that logo on them. Everything else will have just the embroidered, the circle with the cat, the door, Crooked Door Studio. Anyway. Okay, another minute. So now I'm going to follow my own advice here in this last minute. I'm going to go find some round things. I'm going to get some clean white paint. Checking my canvas to make sure it's dry. So we can get ready and move on. Ooh, dessert plate. Dessert plate and coffee cup, I think. Yeah, I think dessert plate and coffee cup, that's what I'm going to use. You could use the big plate if you wanted to. My dessert plate's probably about a ½ inch smaller all the way around. But when I put my paper plate up there, and it's going to be right about the middle of the canvas, I started to realize when I start to pull my feathers out, I'm not going to have a lot of room for feathers, and I'm not going to have a lot of room for neck and head up there. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller. I think the dessert plate will be just small enough. Okay, let's get ready and move on. Ooh, dessert plate and a ramekin. Yes, yes. Now, again, if your canvas is still a little wet, that's okay. Just be careful when you put your thing on here to trace. When you put it on there to trace, you're going to wind up with a little bit of paint around here, and you're going to muck up the paint on your canvas a little bit. That's okay, right? We'll fix it with feathers. So let's put the body on there. Let's talk about this for just a second. Let's put the body, let's imagine this is a circle, pretty much right in the middle of your canvas, pretty darn close. You might go off to the side just a little tiny bit, maybe an inch, but pretty close to the middle. And then just about straight above that, the smaller circle for the head. I'm going to do that with white. Because if I mess this up, if I put it someplace that I'm like, oh, bad decision, I can take a little bit of blue or whatever and blend it into the background. Not that that will happen, but I like to keep my options open. So I'm going to use my medium brush. You can use your small brush if you want, up to you, entirely up to you. I like my medium brush. I'm going to step here in front, and I'm going to find the middle. And I'm going to use a tiny, tiny bit of white paint, tiny, tiny bit, and just trace right around that. Again, you don't have to trace if you don't want to. You can just freehand a circle on there. But I like to trace something to make sure I get it big enough. Because again, we have the tendency to not fill the canvas. Okay. And then I'm going to go above that. We're about at least 2 fat fingers from the top, right? And trace my circle for my head. Yeah. Okay. righty. So yes, yes, ma'am. I'm ready. Question, bring it. You know, it's entirely up to you. If we look at the original, the head is pretty close, like straight up. I moved mine a little further this way, a little further left. I think your head should either be straight, like straight above the body, or left. If your head is further to the right, that's the way I would put the neck. Hope that made sense. Yeah, make sure your head circle is either straight up or a little bit to the left. If your head has gone on the right side, make your neck on the right side. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and put the neck on there. I'm still using white and my medium brush and tracing a little bit. And I'm going to start with a line at the top of the head here, the topish part of the head. And I'm going to swing that down into real close to, not quite the bottom. Let me get the bottom of my circle on here. It's about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Let me show you what I mean. So if this is the bottom of my flamingo, I'm going to come up a little bit. So I'm going to start here at the top of the head. And I'm going to swoop it down, kind of like that. So again, from the top of the head, kind of like naturally curved right down the side into the bottom. And then I want the head to be, or the head, I want the neck to be a little skinnier at the top and get a little bigger as we come down. Not a lot, but a little. So I'm going to start it skinny. And I'm going to come down and we're going to get a little fatter right here. And we now have the basis of our flamingo. So I say, let's go ahead and fill all of that in with pink. And I think I'm going to use my bigger brush to do that, because this is not the final, but I want to get a nice pink base coat on there. So I'm going to take my big brush, cleaning it out, tap, tap, tapping in the water cup. This is where that clean white is super important. This clean white comes in. Don't use any white that has green in it. Bad news bears. You get a poo flamingo. So I might scoop some of this that's away from the green. Okay, so a lot of white, a little bit of red. Let's fill that flamingo in, shall we? Ooh. Oh yeah, Just filling it in right now. I'm not worried about feathers, not worried about that texture. I'll put that on later. I want to get this nice base coat on there. Oh, that pink is happy. Oh. Okay, so a lot of white, red. If you have too much red, grab more white. We don't want a bleeding flamingo. That's not good for anyone. And I'm just filling it in, covering up my white guidelines that I put on there. Ooh. There we go. These colors make me happy. These are good colors. Not that there are bad colors, but if I've learned anything, it's that I'm an emotional painter. Who knew, right? But certain colors will make me happy. They'll make me feel things, right? Other colors will make me sad sometimes. You never know. But for whatever reason, these colors are making me super happy. And I don't even care for pink that much. But, oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to stop, take a little pause here. I'm going to pop my brush in my water cup. We just want to make sure we have that all filled in with pink. And we're going to leave it alone. We're going to get ready to move on here in just a minute. We're going to move on to the legs. And then we'll play a little more in that flamingo. But yeah, we'll work on those legs next. So let's get that on there, give it a minute to dry. All right, I'll give you another couple minutes, about 2 more minutes to 8 o'clock, and then we'll move on. Oh, Andrea. Oh, we're gonna eat them soon. That was an evil laugh. So I usually tell stories about my chickens, and I haven't told my stories about my chickens tonight because they're not a lot of fun right now. I have 4 girls. Well, we're down to 3 girls that are broody, and it's not because I ate one. She snapped out of it, but we didn't catch them soon enough. And if you don't know, when chickens, they get broody, it's almost like their time. They decide they want to be moms. Like that's it. That internal clock kicks in and they want to hatch eggs and they want to sit in the box for days on end and hatch babies. My chickens don't hatch babies, so I keep taking their eggs from them. So they will stay in there in perpetuity or until they snap out of it or until they have chicks. So I'm not letting them have chicks. I have roosters. It's a whole thing. I can't take care of baby chicks right now. So I'm not letting them sit on the eggs. So I keep taking the eggs. Well, we have to snap them out of it because the longer that they're broody, they stay in those boxes and they're kind of mean and they get real agitated. And then it catches another hen will see a chicken sitting in a box and she'll be like, oh God, it must be time for babies. So then she'll become broody and she'll go sit in the box. Well, we got up to 4 of them doing this. And the only way to break them, well, one of the ways to break them of that is to get them out and separate them from the crew and put them someplace that they can't nest. They can't sit on eggs. That was not a pleasant experience. So now every time I walk in the coop, we have them in dog kennels. They have plenty of room. They're in crates, but they're in situations where they have just 0 nesting material. So they can't sit on eggs. And that's supposed to help cool air get up underneath them and cool them down and bring them back out of their broodiness. Look, you're getting a chicken lesson tonight. But when they're broody, they're mean because they don't want anybody to come near them to protect what will be their babies. So now every time I walk in the chicken coop, all I hear is from all 4 of them. Well, 3 now because 1 snapped out of it. So angry. Where usually you walk into the coop and you hear bark, 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 super sweet noises. No, now like they hiss at me and they growl and make horrible noises. So yes, thank you, Andrea, for bringing that up. I need them to snap out of it or they will become chicken stew. I won't eat them. They're too tough and stringy. They're too old. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's put legs on there. So I'm going to use my medium brush with black. You could use your small brush, but I'm afraid your legs would be too small. They'd be too skinny. And the original picture is this, right? It's just two black lines. I, however, like this, like the change that my husband suggested. So that's what I'm going to do. The thing to remember is flamingo's knees are backwards, right? So even the straight up and down leg, it's a little bit crooked backwards. Okay. Medium brush with black. Medium brush with black. And I'm going to use that medium brush skinny ways, vertically, right? Skinny ways. And I'm going to start with the leg that is pretty much straight up and down. So find the middle of your body. And let's go there and let's just go straight down from there. Down, I don't know, you could go all the way off the bottom of the canvas if you want, because we're going to camouflage that at the very end with white water, okay? So I'm going to start here, right there at the middle. And I'm just going to go straight down. And I apologize, for me to get this straight, I have to come over in front, sorry. Go. That line ends up being about as wide as my medium brush, but I will start with it skinny ways and then build on that. I'm always afraid it's going to get too fat too fast. Okay, so there's one leg. I'm going to give that leg a knee. So about halfway down, I'm going to put just a little knobby bump there. Little knee. Little knobby knee. It's just a little flirp. It looks like a little knobby knee. That's something that bothered my husband. Flamingos without knees. Okay. All right. Now, again, you don't have to do it this way if you don't want, right? You could just do those two legs that come down from that same place. But I like this. I think this helps it really look like a flamingo. So I'm going to do a backwards number 4, right? I'm going to start here. I'm going to start at that same place, and I'm going to angle it out. And then come back across the knee. And then I'm going to put a foot in. But if you look at pictures of flamingos, the feet, they don't really have, they have toes, but when they have pulled their feet up out of the water, they've done this, right? Not this. When they pull them up out of the water, because they stand like this, and when they pull them up, they do this. So it's just like a, ooh, kind of like a raindrop-ish upside down, right? Because they pull them up out of the water and they hang like that. I'm going to make this leg a little fatter to catch up with the other one. And then don't forget, we got to give him a little knobby knee out here. This little circle. Zoop. Oh, my husband will be so pleased. Here we go. Make that foot a little longer. There we go. Okay. Once you have your legs on there, let's rinse that brush out. Oh, something we have not talked about while you guys are finishing legs, glitter. So the thing to remember about glitter, if you have glitter and if you're going to use glitter, the thing to remember about glitter, it sticks everywhere paint is wet. We don't mix it in with the paint, right? We wait and make sure that the spot we want glitter to stick is the only thing wet. And then we hold our canvas flat and we sprinkle glitter on there, okay? I've seen people before, they want to mix glitter in with the paint, and that doesn't work. That just makes the, looks like sand in the paint. You lose all the shininess. So you want the glitter to lay on top. But again, it's going to stick everywhere the paint's wet. So you figure out that one place you want glitter. And it's funny, I hear kids say often, where do you want glitter? Oh, everywhere. Oh, cute, Emily. You did glitter your bunny tail. Yes. I think bunny butts should be glittered. So you figure out where you want your glitter tonight. So I thought it would be cute to put a couple last feathers in that body and glitter those. I also thought it might be cute, the sunglasses. They have little white dots across the top that helps them look kind of cat eye-ish. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's so cute. Well done. Oh, I love it. That is a good looking bunny butt. Well done, Emily. That's a good looking bunny butt. It would be really cute in those dots across the top if you glittered those so they look like rhinestones. Okay. So I'm going to take that medium brush, clean it out. And I'm going to use some white, and I'm going to put my my beak on there. Now, if your head is still a little wet, that would be okay. Because if you look at our original painting, our original inspiration painting, the beak is white, white, white. But if you look at a real flamingo, their beaks are like a really pale pink. And then they have black on the end, but they're really pale pink. So if you have a little bit of wet pink, that's okay. But I want my flamingo head, I want him to be kind of sassy. So I want his head to be tipped a little bit, a little sideways, a little sassy. So to make that easier for me, I'm actually going to turn my painting. There we go. So now this for me, this is up and down. So my beak is going to go here, and I know my glasses are going to go there. So this is my reminder to you that things aren't welded into place. Move it around, move that canvas around. I know based on my experience, I can't keep that painting straight up and down and be able to paint something tilted, right? It takes on like a really weird dimension perspective thing. I can't do that. My brain doesn't work that way. So I have to physically turn my piece. So now this is up and down for me. And now I can put my beak on there. And I'll do that again when it's time for glasses. Okay, medium brush. You can use your pointy brush if you want, but I'm going to use my medium brush. I'm going to use it skinny ways. And about halfway, maybe a tiny, tiny bit higher, a little bit higher is where I'm going to start that V. And it's going to come down and come off the head there. Just a V, right? And I apologize, I have to stand in front to do this. So a little higher than halfway. Start small, you can always make it bigger. I'm actually going to curve it a little bit. So I put it on there straight, a straight V, and then I kind of curved it a little bit. So that looks good. Now I know I'm going to wind up putting black on the end of it. So I'm just going to fill the top half in with white. And I'm filling it in by going straight up and down brush strokes. Again, not worried about the latter half, the pointy half of that, because that's going to be black. Okay. Take a breather here for a minute. Because I think while my canvas is tipped that way, I think I'm going to go ahead and put my sunglasses on there and then paint that black. So then I can flip my canvas back up the right way. So I'm going to leave it there for a second, give it a minute or so. Start to think about what those glasses are going to look like. At the same time, I'm going to come down here and check out this leg, especially this straight leg down here, and make sure that I don't have any big, fat, wet rolls of paint down here. because we're going to put the sunglasses on. We're going to put the black on the beak. At some point, we're going to wind up back down here in the bottom, putting that water splash down there. And I don't want to drag my brush through any wet black paint. And if you have a roll of paint that's come off the edge of your brush, it's going to take a long time to dry. You might go ahead and smooth that roll of paint out with your finger just to help it dry a little bit faster. Emily, I'm thinking about your bunny butt now. That not the weirdest sentence I've said today. Not the weirdest. That was glorious though. So good. Mm. Okay. So I'm thinking now about my sunglasses and what those are going to look like. They can really look like anything they want, but my guidance to you is make sure that you have that beak straight up and down, right? Because if you have flipped your painting back and you're trying to paint it this way, those glasses are going to take on like a weird angle. So I'm going to keep it so my beak is straight up and down. Okay. And then the glasses are going to be, they're going to sit right at the top of the beak, right? Just like us, right? Right at the top of the beak. And they're going to come out a little bit bigger than the head. So let's see, black. I think I'm going to use my medium brush. Again, use whatever brush makes you happy. And they don't have to be black if you don't want. You can make them a different color. If you choose a different color though, you might have to add white to your color because the paint that we use is student grade paint. It's very transparent. So for example, if you wanted yellow sunglasses on there, the yellow would be see-through. Where the yellow would come out onto the blue, you'd be able to see right through that yellow to the blue and they'd look green. So you have to add a little bit of white, okay? I'm gonna paint mine black, so that's not an issue for me. But if you want a different color, you have to add a little bit of white to it. Okay, there we go. So a brush that makes you happy, one of your smaller brushes. I'm going to use my medium. And I'm going to start right here at the bridge. I'm going to put this little bump right in here. That's where the bridge is going to go. That little frown. Boop. And then I want mine to be cat eye. Okay. So now I'm going to take a little bump up and come, ooh, I'm even going to like angle mine up. I'm going to go super cat eye. Remember, a little bit bigger than the head. The trick is to get the other side the same. Always the trick. Looks like I just gave him really weird eyelashes. So weird. Okay, I'm gonna get close. Okay, so I have the bridge and the tops of the glasses. And then I'm gonna come back here to the bridge and I'm gonna come down. And now I can round that on out and connect it out to my points. But I came down and did like backwards parentheses. And I'm going to just go ahead and fill them in with black. So I want them to look like sunglasses. So once I have that outline, I'm just going to fill them in. Ooh, styling. Somebody's super fancy. So silly. Okay. Trying to decide if I want them bigger. I think I might want them a little bit bigger. I think I'm going to go to my pointy brush. There we go. Yep, I like them a little bit bigger. Brought him out a little further past his face. His face, her face. I guess I don't know. It's a boy or a girl. I think it's a girl. I guess, Jessica, that's a question for you. Are boy flamingos and girl flamingos both pink? I feel like you were already like giving me a response before I even asked. Yes, because the pink is from what they eat. They eat the shrimp, right? Yes. Jessica's our resident bird nerd. More bird nerd than my husband. Oh, because babies drain you. That's what they do, right? Females after having babies will lose their color. Babies will drain you. Okay. Well, we learned something new. We always learn new things. I like it. Thanks, Jessica. Okay, so I have my glasses on there. I'm not going to put any of that detail on there yet. I'm going to let them dry. But I have my small brush, and I am going to paint the end of that beak black. So I'm going to get nice and close here. Down here, I'm going to outline it. And then to fill it in, and give vertical brush strokes. So I won't have a hard line across there. That black and white will be kind of woven together. I do like that the black goes up a little higher on the beak, a little higher on the sides, and a little lower in the middle. Up to you though, but I kind of like how that looks. A little bit higher on the edges, just a little. Okay. And now when I'm done with that, I'm going to flip it back up. And when that's dry, I'll go in and put the rhinestones on and the little bit of light reflection in the glasses. But I'm going to leave that alone for now. And I'm going to get ready to head down in here in the body. So I'm checking those legs, making sure that black there is dry, because I don't want to drag through that pink. I don't want to drag through wet black. So let's go to our big brush. Big brush, clean it out. To clean it out, I'm tap, tap, tapping in the bottom of the cup. Tap, tap, tap. Dry it off on my paper towel. And for my feathers down here, for my craziness. So if you have decided that you want pink glitter down there, my guidance to you would be, don't do it yet. Let's go ahead and get a bunch of feathers down there and let them dry halfway before you put glitter on there, right? Give them a little bit of time to dry. Otherwise, you're going to lose all the texture in your feathers, and it's just going to be one big, ginormous mass of glitter, which is up to you if that's what you're going for. But I like the idea of glitter maybe sticking on some highlights in the feathers and really accentuating some of that funness going down in there rather than just hiding all of it, okay? So I'm going to take some red on my brush, a little bit of red, big brush, and a big old chunk of white, a lot of white. And it's not really mixed on there. It's kind of a hot mess. And I think most of my feathers are going to end up going back. This has some feathers that come like down, like splash up on the chest. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think most of my feathers are going to fly back. Oh, that's fun. Oh, more red, a lot of white, probably about a third red, 2/3 white. Yeah, I like my feathers on the chest going down. A couple long tail feathers. Oh. So remember, as you do this, don't work it so much that it's all one monotone shade of pink. Let there be some that are a little whiter. Let there be some that are a little more red. That's okay. I want to see all those lovely different shades of pink in there. Ooh, crazy. Oh, that's fun. I want a couple sassy tail feathers that are longer than anything else. Are you making the noise? You have to make the noise. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. Pew. Oh, that's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. Again, there comes a point you have to know when to stop, right? Because you'll lose all your two-tonedness in there, and it'll be all one shade of pink. And we want to be able to see the different shades of pink in there. So I believe I'm gonna stop, because I don't want to continue to mess with it and lose all of that beautiful pinkness. So if we get close up to mine, you can see I've got some that there's more white, there's more red. I've taken all of my swishes out past that original circle, right? We've come just outside of that original circle. And again, the original shows the feathers here on the chest. It shows the feathers coming up. I don't know how I felt about that. So I made mine all go down and back. But that just goes to show you there's no right or wrong here, right? If you want your feathers to be all squiggly and crazy and in all different directions, that is all you, right? You do what makes you happy tonight. Because there's not enough of that in the world, right? Okay, so we're getting towards the end, my friends. Let's take, you know what? Let's take a 10-minute break. So how about 8:40? So how about 20 till? We'll come back, clean water. Let's go rinse those brushes out, okay? Clean water, clean big brush, clean white. And we'll come back. We'll be able to put our fun water swishes down here in white and put the detail on our glasses, and we'll call it done, okay? So 8:40, 20 till, we'll come back with clean water, clean big brush, clean white. It's about another 6-ish minutes. Again, we want to come back. We want to finish this up with clean water. I took my brushes, took them in the cup, cleaned them out, got clean water. washed my brushes under running water. Want to make sure I get all of that pink out of that big brush. Okay. So I have clean water, clean brushes, and I'm done with all of my colors. So I got another plate with just a little bit of clean white, because I was nervous that if I put white anywhere on this plate, I might accidentally drag through a color. And that's not what I want. I want my water to be nice and white. My splashes, I should say. Oh, absolutely. The inspiration photo. Yes. So here's the original. Here's our original inspiration photo. On the inspiration photo, everything came like from the middle. It's like a firework out from the middle. I, however, took mine and went kind of back from the neck. That made more sense in my brain, but yep, there's the inspiration. Hope that helps, Rhonda. Okay. All right, about 4 more minutes. Again, let's check and make sure this is all dry down here. Let's make sure those legs are dry. Clean water, clean big brush, clean white. Oh, you're welcome. It's funny, it always makes sense in my brain when I say stuff, but yeah, probably would have helped for you to see the original picture as well. Sorry. Okay. I just drank that water as if I was dying of thirst. So weird. I just turned into a little kid when I drank it. Ah. Jessica, I'm really excited to see where you put Sparty there tonight. Riding the flamingo's back. Are we putting a saddle on the flamingo? Would kind of be amazing. All right, another couple minutes. Again, clean white. Oh, I love that. Well, yeah. Moving to Raleigh, but now you have some place to visit, right? And you know what? Sometimes that makes you even tighter. Okay, Callie, I can't wait to see. Sometimes that makes you even tighter because you make more of an effort to stay in touch, right? So fingers crossed that that works for you. Okay. Oh my goodness, Mary. I love the reverse. I love the pink background and the black flamingo. That is so sassy. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Oh, so good. That looks great. Oh, I love it. Well done, you guys. Well done. Good job. I love seeing what everybody does because everybody has a different take on it. Our friends, Mary's crew, they just walked around the table and showed us their pictures. And if you weren't watching, the one was a pink background with a black flamingo, like a reverse. So cool. So cool. Oh, okay, let's go ahead and finish this up. Let's put that water on there, shall we? So I'm going to use my big brush. My big brush, clean it out, dry it off. When you dry it off in a clean spot on your paper towel. You don't want to pick up any wet paint. Like I have wet black paint on my paper towel. I don't want to pick that up with my clean brush. So make sure you dry it off on a clean spot on your paper towel. So let's take some white. You know, there's really no right or wrong down here. I'm going to do all kinds of fun. They're a little taller on the edges, shorter in the middle, and then taller on the edge. So it creates this nice oval. But it's all kinds of fun. Ooh, maybe these go that way. Maybe then I have some that go that way. The trick is putting them on there, putting all your fun squigglers on there, and not covering that completely solid white. It is okay to let some of the green show through, let some of that background show through. Don't feel like you have to completely cover that entire bottom. Don't make it all solid white. Okay. Oh, curve it that way. Oh, and then curve it that way. Oh, fun. If you feel like this is something where you wanted to play and get messy, you could take it outside and splatter the bottom of it with white. I'm not going to do that since I'm inside. Oh, that's fun. Oh, so fun. So I have a big brush. I might use my medium brush and get some little baby shushes down there. Oh, that's fun with the baby shushes. Okay. Just like everything else, though, there comes a point that you have to stop or you're going to turn it into all just one big mass of white. And that's not what we want, right? We want to be able to see that cool paint texture down there. We don't want to completely lose all the fun white, the play in the white there. Okay. So before I lose it all down there and turn it into one big white blob, I'm going to stop. Okay. If you have decided to glitter your feathers, start to think about that. You might even go back in and put some extra little pink shushes, but do that at the end, right? Because glitter will stick everywhere, paint's wet. I'm going to go ahead and finish my glasses up here. Let's see. I'm going to, using my medium brush, I'm going to use the other end of it for those little dots across the top of the glasses. 1, 2. And as I go, I'm going to run out of paint and they're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Oh, that's fun. So I'm starting toward the bridge. Dot, dot. By 3, 4, 5, they get smaller and smaller. Oh, that's fun. Oops. And then I want to do a little bit of white on there. A little kiss of light. Oh, that's fun. Kind of want the idea of some splatter down there. Maybe I'll use the other end of my brush, my medium brush, and maybe I'll just put some dots down in here to help it kind of look like splatter, but not have the mess of splatter. Oh, so many things you can do, so much fun you can have. You can play. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, I do believe with that, I'm going to call that done. Because again, I don't want to overwork that. I want to still be able to see all that fun texture down there. You like how I say it and then I go back in and continue to play? I like going back in, and if I have a spot that has a lot of thinner paint on it, like down here in this corner, take my medium brush with a lot of paint on it and get a little bit of texture, right? So this is kind of turning into all the same medium shade, right? Medium white there. So what if I take my medium brush with a lot of paint and I do a couple little heavy paint swirls on there? It's very subtle, but it adds a little bit of dimension. All right, I did that over here. Some heavier paint on thinner paint. All right, so with that, I think I'm going to call that done. I'm going to stop the recording here in just a minute, and then I'll give you the opportunity to unmute and chat if you want. So for the recording, one of the last things that every artist needs to do is sign their work. I'm a firm believer that you should sign your painting. Even if nobody is ever going to see it, you need to get your signature on there somewhere. So you can sign on the front. Artists usually sign in one of the bottom corners. That's a popular place to sign. You can sign on the edge of your canvas if it's a stretched canvas. You can sign on the back if you want. But if you sign on the back with a paint pen or a Sharpie, never ever sign in the middle. Sign where the wood is on the canvas, right? If you sign in the middle, it could, over time, it could bleed through and you'd see it on the front of your painting. And we don't want to ruin all that work we just put into it. So make sure you sign someplace small on the front, usually in the bottom, one of the bottom corners. And I like to put the year too, so I know what year I created it. So I will go ahead and sign mine. I would love for you to send a picture of yourself with your painting you can either email me or you can send it through private messenger through Crooked Door Studio, because I would love to see what you create. I love the take that everybody has on these paintings. Everybody does it different, and there is no right or wrong there, but it's always fun for me to see the different way people take their paintings. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I'm Shauna Sue from Crooked Door Studio in soon uptown Marysville. Right now from my home in Marysville, but soon, very soon, we'll be back in the studio. All right. So until next week, I'll see you guys all then. Thanks.